My name is Vic, and I sing and play guitar in Pierce the Veil.
And I'm Mike, and I play drums.
So, the $5 question, which looking around the interviews that have been done with you guys, is, and I'm going to ask it just because there are people that are listening to this who've never, they don't know a damn thing about you.
Right.
So the $5 easy question right off the bat is, what's it like to be in the band as brothers?
All right.
That's the $5 one.
$5. That's an easy one. It's good. Me and Mike, we've been playing in bands together since we were really young. I'd say just freshmen in high school.
Mm-hmm.
We started our first punk band. Straight West Coast skate punk. Fast stuff. And so we've been playing together since we were little. And it's cool because I think since we have been playing together so long, and we are brothers, there's this always this unspoken connection between us that I can always just kind of look at him and know what he's doing, and
Like twins.
Yeah, in a way,
In a way, yeah. I don't think we ever really expected to go this far with it and be on the road together 24/7. And I mean, just starting out, it was cool to be able to play parties together and just be the kind of cool kids in high school, being in a punk band. But now that we can actually make sort of a living off of it, it's kind of cool just to be on the road together. So,
Yeah.
So the $5 million question would be, you're on the bus. There's some girls on the bus, and this one girl who's the hottest amongst them both wants you both, and she's just alternating back and forth to see who goes first.
all right.
Or who's so how do you do this brotherly love in that sort of a situation?
Well,
I think we draw straws.
you know what? Well,
That's a great answer.
You know what? That
Pulled
situation,
that one right out of thin air.
that situation
Yeah.
will probably never happen because Mike and I, we kind of look like exact opposites. So I think any chick that was gonna go for either one of us pretty much knows. Does she want the tall, skinny guy with tattoos, a million tattoos, or does she want the small, short Mexican guy?
Brown.
Do you guys even like the same girl?
I don't
Types?
think so.
I don't know. He likes the. I don't know. I see you with tattooed women.
So you're more like
women.
You're more like the
Old women.
old women. The old women. That's good. That's very flattering.
I don't like old women.
Wait, how old are you guys anyway?
I'm 24.
So 24. So 30 could be old.
That's kind of pushing the cougar limit.
30 is cougar.
We had
Okay.
we had a conversation about the different cats,
Really?
the different age women.
Okay. So tell me, what is it? What have you guys come to determine?
Well, a cougar, is the old lady that is after the young guy.
Yeah.
A kitten is the way too young girl that's after the old guy.
Got it. It's like high school's, senior
Yeah.
into the college guy.
Kittens
Yeah.
are the ones we stay away from.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was the really old, the grandma that's after you? I think
what
we
was
called
that?
it a puma or something.
Yeah, we've had a number of bands in through here that have talked about doing the signings at the booths and stuff after the shows and stuff, and having the moms, certain moms, being all about oh, come here, take a picture, and the mom rubbing their back.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, it gets creepy sometimes.
There's some.
Or when a mom gives you their daughter's number or things like that.
Oh,
it's
good.
kinda
Really?
weird.
Jeez.
That's kind of weird.
that happened.
That happens.
Seriously.
That definitely happened. Not to me, but
And to the daughter's happiness or chagrin? I mean, was she embarrassed or what?
I don't know.
I don't even think the daughter was even there.
Yeah, she wasn't even there.
She wasn't even there, and she gave her the. That's even better. Blind date setup, man. That's awesome. Wow. Okay. Well, I learned something new, so that's what matters. It's a Monday, and I learned something new. As you said, you guys, you out of San Diego. Is it out of San Diego proper? Or is there another place, in a surrounding areas out of San Diego you're out of?
No, me and Mike are pretty much right in the middle of San Diego. The other dudes are Tony and Jaime. Tony kind of lives with us right now, since we're really never home much. He just crashes. We all kind of crash wherever. But
But is that where you grew up?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how far away from your grow up home are you right now?
At the moment, we're very far.
Really?
We're in, well, I mean, yeah. I mean, we
I
grew
don't
up.
see any beaches around here, so
No, I mean like it's in the sense of like where you grew up, like where you went to school and things like that versus
Right.
where you are now. In San
Oh,
Diego.
yeah. No,
Same-
we're still in the
same house.
Same
Oh, the
area.
same house. All right, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So you're there. So you was there always like if you guys were to kind of pinpoint an age where you guys decided individually that you were interested in music somehow. I read someplace that you said your dad taught you guys a lot. And what was the connection with that?
You know, our dad has been very influential, I think, in almost everything that we do. You know, he taught us. He's a guitar player. You know, he taught me how to play when I was younger, and you know, he bought Mike his first drum set at a swap meet. You know, for $50,
Yep.
and you know, he was always trying to get us into music because he has a great appreciation for it, and it goes further than just like playing your guitar. You know, he's always like really soulful and you know, about things. He's a really like
yeah,
telling me I gotta, you know, you gotta feel the music, all this kind of stuff like that. You know, turn up your guitar, do this, and you know.
Yeah, he taught us more on like on how to present yourself on stage too. I'd rather just you need to feel the music. You can't just get up there and fake it. You need to
Yeah,
really
like, you know, when he's
put
telling me to
everything
hit those
into it.
notes, like hit those notes, you gotta feel it, you know. And then like he I don't know, he's been always really teaching us how you have to watch other musicians play with other dudes. You know, that's the only way that you can get good, you know, is learning from other people. And we didn't really realize that until we started touring, you know, how important it is to talk to the guys you're on tour with, to watch them, and because that's where you learn stuff.
So he wasn't. So you guys never went through formal training, or anything, like lessons or anything. So he was more about like you got to feel it, because there
Yeah.
are those people that like don't worry about the notes.
Yeah,
You know, and
he
stuff.
doesn't.
You got to feel it. If you don't feel it, then you're not either playing the right music or you shouldn't be a musician.
exactly.
Yeah, we learned all that stuff from him. He doesn't really know like all the technical stuff, you know. But I mean, you know, everyone wants to learn more. I mean, we're a band that likes to, you know, progress and learn new stuff. Like I started taking vocal lessons before, you know, a couple tours ago, and you know, we're always trying to get better at what we're doing.
So then, when was that? Like, were you guys in middle school when you started kind of picking up the instruments, and your dad got you the drum set?
I started before you did. I think when I was in like a band with a friend of mine, and it was more like a rock band, you know. And I think that band was very important for me because I learned a lot of, you know, how to like solo and stuff like that you don't really learn in music like that we really play, you know. So it kind of gave me a different diversity of, you know, what I started with, and then
Yeah, I definitely started going to like the little punk club shows when I was way too young, and I would somehow sneak out and get to the local show, and I would just be scared out of my mind at the show, but it was just like the coolest time I would ever have in my life.
I
And
remember you started going to shows before I
Yeah.
did though, which was kind of funny because
that's what got me to want to play drums in the first place, is just growing up listening to some of these local bands and just loving the scene and just never being able to, like, never seeing that part of.
I
mean,
vividly remember like going with Mom to a show and dropping you off like at Soma, like this like venue in San Diego, and like he's got like Liberty spikes and like chains and
Really?
stuff.
Yeah, Liberty Spikes.
Oh, yeah. Blonde.
Dude,
Horrible.
you know. Did you sleep with him that way too?
Most likely.
Yeah, it's good. That's good. We got to see the pictures, the morning after pictures.
Oh, yeah.
What was the shows that you what was that first show that you remember, Mike, that you know, like one of those shows where you were scared and but you were just so caught up in the intensity of the band that was performing. Do you remember the band that was? That you were like, damn, I got it. This is something about this that makes me want to be here and in this.
Ooh. A lot of them were local shows, but one that I can think of was a band called the Suicide Machines.
Yeah, sure.
and that song SOS was one of the first songs that really, really got me hooked on the aggression and just punk rock, and I just wanted to go to every show I could, and it just hooked me on it.
Yeah, the way I got into a lot of bands was just like hearing them blasting from Mike's room, like into my room. Like I would eventually know the songs. So.
Was there ever do you guys like, are you at that point now where you guys are playing a show and you kind of see yourself in the crowd? Like maybe this is
totally
some fans' Suicide Machine show in a way?
I've had kids come up to me and say the exact same thing that I've said to my favorite bands when I was younger, you know, like straight up this kid came to me and said, you know, your music is very inspiring. And I said that exact words to Tepe from Thrice when I was like I don't know.
Yep.
Maybe like 8 years ago or something like that. I was just like so honest, like Tepe. He was like, and he was really nice to me, and so I was like super nice to that kid when he told me.
Yeah.
So.
Me and a couple of my buddies, right after, like I think it was right after Identity Crisis came out, we used to actually go to Thrice shows way too early and barbecue, and try to get them over to the barbecue and have a hot dog with us or something.
So you had a little plan? Was that kind of like it?
Kind of.
Kind of like hang out with the bands? Yeah. What kind of, did you guys run in a particular crowd when you guys were starting to, jam with your friends and stuff like that? Was there a kind of crowd that you were part of?
It was mostly like high school friends and stuff.
Yeah, it was
at
all
that point.
surfer, skater, punk rockers.
Yeah.
Were you guys liked or not liked? Were you the rejects? Or were you
We had a lot of fun in like our high school bands. Like we used to play our friends' parties and stuff. And
Some crazy parties.
Because in California, I mean, the Liberty Spikes and the punk rock thing was considered almost, to a certain extent, part of the norm. And you get outside of that area and you start getting into the flyover states, and then you were the oddball. You were the one that got picked on. Were you guys ever picked on?
We didn't know anything about outside of San Diego until we started touring. Kind of more professionally, because we never toured really on our own because we didn't know how. Like we just stayed locally and tried to build in San Diego. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, we were just having fun back then. So,
Vic, you were saying that one of your early influences was Bradley from Sublime.
Yeah,
that you liked his stuff. So, who else were you guys kind of like trying to emulate as you guys are playing and learning your instruments and trying to get a grasp of your first kind of phases of your onstage personality that would turn into one?
Yeah. Our last record, and I don't know, a lot of stuff before that, I was always really interested in how the band Queen, did a lot of stuff. Just a lot of it was not so much like their music in particular, but the way they recorded it. How they used all these layers and harmonies, and I got really into learning how to harmonize things and like going way too far with my background vocals and they were kind of inspiring for how we recorded and stuff. I like them a lot.
Yeah, I was pretty much strictly just fast, just punk rock stuff, and that's all I wanted to play was just fast and aggressive. And I think my first main stage show, like big show, was Blink-182 with Unwritten Law and Sprung Monkey. And that was like first like circle pit, mosh pit I've ever been in, and I think I was 15.
Yeah. I also like that, like the punk beat fast stuff seems to be coming back now. Like all of our friends' bands are doing it, like in their new records and stuff, and it's kind of cool to see.
So rock critics and fans like to categorize everything. So maybe we'll allow you to categorize yourself if you want. But if you were to kind of, like sometimes you see at the end of record reviews and things like sounds like, or something like that. So if you guys could write your own, who would you want to be compared to individually as your styles, as a singer, guitarist, as a drummer? Who would you be like flattered to be in that same sentence with?
Yeah. Man. That is a tough question.
That's a really good question.
I don't know. I mean, I get when we had to say, sounds like, they actually made us do this for things, it's
Sure.
they compared us to like Coheed and Cambria and like Mars Volta and
Yeah.
stuff like that, which I think are all valid things, because like the high singing voices and the kind of progressive rock, a lot of different things going on. I didn't have a problem with that when people said that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, when I first started playing drums, I was obviously teaching myself how to play, and the main thing that I did for myself was just watch every single drummer I could. Like, I'd go to Warped Tours, and I'd walk around every stage by myself and just watch the drummer the whole time. And I'd try to take something from that one drummer, maybe whether it be just like a simple beat or like some kind of movement that he did, and put it into like my style of playing. And I think that's kind of developed my own style by just really just watching every single drummer I could and take that from them into my style.
So was it the first band together called the Early Times, or was it? So it was okay.
yeah, I mean,
Was it mutually started by the two of you, or did one of you start it, then the other one asked?
It was actually Vic
yeah,
and
I
one of his
started it.
buddies.
Yeah, me and my friend, the guitar player at the time, Joe, we used to just jam acoustics at like our friends' houses and stuff. And
Joe Tensio.
Yeah, Joe Tansel, yeah.
Tansel.
Yep.
Sorry, Cleveland accent.
No, yeah, we just used to jam acoustics. We would make like songs that we would want to be like punk songs, on acoustics, and then yeah, and eventually we just wanted to actually do something with them, and then we got Mike to try and start playing drums, and yeah, that was just kind of how we started. It was all just friends, I think.
So when was that? Like, were you guys in high school still, or were you?
Yeah, that was probably like in 97 or so. I don't know.
Okay.
I know I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was like freshman high school.
So did you guys ever play out?
Yeah, we got together, and once we actually got songs, we started playing like venues and stuff, and we started out just doing parties. Like, I still have the set list from our very first show ever.
Really?
Like we printed out our own set lists and stuff, and I wrote on the back of it. It says like Sam's Party, very first show ever.
I remember that.
Like, I still have it in my room.
Something to eBay later on, right?
Yeah.
Give it to the Rock Hall, maybe. It'd be nice. Did you do you remember the what you guys were thinking after you got done with your first performance? Were you guys like, why didn't we?
No, we.
Or you just too stoked and just like break out the beer?
I was all new to it because I was super young, and I'd never been to like a high school party or anything. And so when Vic basically tells me, "Hey, we're playing this party tonight," I'm like, "Okay, can I bring a friend?" And so me and my friend just roll into this party that's just 200 kids, just kegs everywhere, and it's just like, this is cool.
Did you get trashed?
Yes.
Yes. There you go.
Yeah, I think like you said, like, what did we think about it? Afterwards, like, that's funny because like at the time when you're playing music, like you never think you're bad, like like back then you're like, oh, that was awesome, like we sounded so good. Like we recorded our first like record, and at the time we thought it was like the most amazing thing, like. We're so pumped on it, but now when you're older, you look back on it and like see how horrible you were. And
did you apologize to your dad for making him listen to it?
Yeah,
Dad, I really appreciate you having a straight face when I played this for you back then.
No, they're the kind of parents that go, "Oh man, you should bring back some of that old stuff. Like there were some good songs in there." We're like, no,
don't ever let them be the business manager.
Yeah,
right. I got it.
That's so strange because last night on the drive here, our tour manager was driving. And he played us like his first band, and it was straight pop punk, and he was singing.
Yeah.
And we were just cracking up, and Vic's like, "Oh, do you have Early Times on your iPod?" And I was like, "No way, I don't." And I checked it, and I actually had it.
Yeah,
so we
we've
put it on and we're like, just
we've done that with a lot of
cracking up.
bands. Like a lot of bands still carry their first band on their iPod. You know.
Yeah, sometimes you
For-
can find them on Pure Volume.
Yeah.
I tried to find early times on Pure Volume, and I can't. There's no listing, and I was actually trying to find early time because what is it? What's the story? Was there actually? Did you guys actually release a CD, self-produced CD, or was it all just demos?
We actually did a full length.
You did a full length. All right,
Yeah.
I was trying to find it. Nobody had it. I was
Yeah.
like, all right.
I'm surprised I still have
There's
it.
probably like 2,000 of them at our house if you want any.
Oh, yeah, I'll take it. Because I may need some eBay stuff later on. So, how big did the early times actually get?
It got us signed, didn't
Well-
it? Were we signed off of early times?
Yeah, because we had to change our name.
Yeah, we got eventually signed to Equal Vision as
Off of
early
that,
as
okay.
early times, and we changed our name because we needed a new name
Why? Why did you need a name?
because it's a whiskey company.
Yes.
That's how high school we were.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, we did the full length and just put it out ourselves, and then after that did 4 new demos.
Yeah, we did a bunch of EPs and stuff.
Yeah. It was like
all just burned.
mainly
you know.
4 songs, and every single show we would just go out and pass them out, and just our mom would help us burn them every day and just burn copies and pass them out at every show we could, and eventually somehow made its way to New York where Equal Vision lives.
Yeah.
Up in Albany.
Yeah. no.
Right. So where did the name Before Today come from? That was your new name.
Yeah. That was like a.
That's the $10 question.
Yeah, that was just a song title from one of our old songs. We just
Easy enough.
Yeah, at the time it felt like a good name, but the more we were with it, it was just like really like lame. Like it didn't stick, Like everyone was like called us before tomorrow or after today or after tomorrow. Like it's just a really confusing name, but whatever.
So when you guys got signed, who did all your negotiation and stuff like that? I mean, did you have an attorney friend at that point?
Yeah, we have an awesome attorney. Her name's Rosemary Carroll. She's just like a huge badass. Like, and
She rules.
way more than like we should have had. Like but the only reason we got her was because our dad's a painting contractor, and he was painting a house, and it was the mom of one of the dudes in Rocket from the Crypt, and she was like, "Oh, you should use our attorney," and got our referenced them, and somehow we got Rosemary Carroll, and she negotiated everything and tore apart the contracts,
Yeah.
and did crazy shit, and it was
Lord knows we couldn't read those contracts. So.
Can you guys today even read contracts?
I don't know, man. They're
Probably
so-
not.
Okay.
They make no
Well, that
sense.
cat's out of the bag. You guys are totally vulnerable without an attorney.
Sign here.
Yes, exactly. So you guys were signed to Equal Vision. Did you guys get an advance?
No,
No advance?
no.
No.
No money? So what was like, you're getting signed to EVR, and at that point, that was 2004?
I think so. Yeah,
Around there?
yeah.
So so that must have like completely flipped you guys out. I mean, now your whole life is changing in front of you because now you're not just the local San Diego band. Now you're being written up in the San Diego paper says the band that just got signed to the nationally renowned Equal Vision Records is now going to be, the next thing that break out of San Diego. I mean, did that change the way that you guys felt about yourselves? Like did your goals in your mind like, wow, maybe we can go do maybe my face will be on
It was cool. It was
Guitar
like
Player magazine.
Nah, I don't think we never think that. I mean, maybe we do think that far ahead, but it's not like we think it's gonna happen immediately. Like we had to work very hard from where we started. It wasn't even like that we had to like even knew what we were doing. We just had to learn from our mistakes and stuff. I think that's a lot of the reason why we are where we are today, with Pierce the Veil, is because we've made our mistakes. We've gone through all the stuff, and we've learned a lot. But
So what were those mistakes? I have to ask.
I don't know, just like,
Without obviously you don't want to know, if it involved a previous band member. But.
No. I mean, like, just touring. We had the guys that we were on tour with. We definitely burned some bridges while we were like, just hanging out and partying and stuff, and we did. It was. Also like the tours we had. We've done every single small. Played a 5 people tour, and
If that.
Oh, you had the three people night, huh?
Well, I don't know if the bartender and the other bands playing count, but
Well, if they're listening, they do.
And just learning how you should go about everything. Everything from making friends with bands to having working relationships with venues and with the people that are helping you.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of things were left in the dark because we didn't know what we were doing. We had no management. We just kind of felt stagnant a lot of the time, because there was no communication between like us, and we never really called our label every day, to be like, hey, can we do this? Not a single. We probably did like 5 interviews in the entire existence of Before Today.
So give me the time frame. How long did Before Today last? Because you changed the name and brought in and started officially the new group because you lost the other 2 members.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to jump too far ahead, but so then it was like about December 2006. It was about time frame. Pierce the Veil.
Yeah,
formation.
it was all kind. It's kind of a blurry section because it all kind of happened over time. Like we lost 1 member and then tried to keep going and then lost another member and.
So a couple years roughly.
Yeah, it was over a span of a couple years.
So that whole time period, you really weren't talking. I mean, you were just kind of thinking that the machine was going to run itself.
Exactly. You kind of like, we just didn't know what to do. We didn't know about publicists and like people that get you interviews, people that work for you to get your name out there. Working the internet, like all that stuff. We just, that's all examples of things that you learn over time, and stuff that we. Thank God we know how to do now, so, yeah, I don't know.
So who did, did Casey do Before Today's record?
No, that was kind of a cool process for us because, we tracked everything in San Diego with a guy that we really liked named Jeff Forrest. Good local San Diego guy, he's amazing.
Cheshire Cat.
Yeah, did the first Blink record ever. But he's really cool. And then we mixed our record with a guy named Ryan Green. And he was huge for us because he did all the Fat Record stuff. No Effects, Lagwagon.
Nice for a name.
Yeah, every like record that we thought was really awesome. So we went to San Francisco and worked with him. And so the record came out, okay. It was kind of a weird process. But,
yeah, it was cool.
Celebration of It Ending was the name of the record.
Yeah.
And did you, was there a point there where the other bands in San Diego were starting to get jealous of you? Or are they like, who are these guys?
I don't know. I never felt that vibe. Like we always like had friends in other bands that we always played with, I think every band probably has a couple hometown bands that they grew up with and always played their shows with. If you go back and look at flyers, it's always, this band and this band and this band playing together.
Right.
Like back then. So,
yeah, it was cool too. Because our in-house agent at the time, Dave Shapiro, he actually moved to San Diego from New York, and that was like right when we got signed, and we would just hang out with him like every day, and he would start like helping us out like once we do home shows, settling for us there, so we could actually get paid what we're worth.
Yeah,
because we were drawing like really good crowds on our local shows, like selling out like 5 cap rooms
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
That's
which
one
was
thing,
cool
yeah.
for us. And eventually,
So you were getting ripped off prior to that?
we weren't getting what.
Yeah,
really-
we were getting.
You're just underselling yourselves.
we were getting
Yeah,
like
we were
$100.
getting ripped off. Like, a lot of bands should know. Like, if you're only getting like $100 and you brought like 500 people, you're getting ripped off.
I think the worst was we were trying to branch out of San Diego and playing a couple shows towards LA and stuff like that. And a lot of these venues make you do pre-sale.
Right.
And when we're just a local band from San Diego, how can we sell pre-sale to a show like up in LA?
They like pay to play. You know, you pay them to
So
play.
we would play these shows, and obviously we can't sell all the pre-sale they give us. And they're making us pay for those tickets that we couldn't sell. And we're like, wow, how are we going to pay for this? And end up having to ask our parents for money. And it was just tough times.
Yeah, they just figure you'll haul all your friends up for the entire San Diego scene.
Yeah, of course.
Los Angeles. Yeah, of course. So we take 2 music breaks, and when we come back, I want to talk about like that reformation era, right, before Pierce the Veil started up, and the things that you guys went through with that, all that. But wanted to we picked two. I asked the guests to pick 2 songs by 2 separate bands. Any song, any band, and why don't you guys give me 2 bands that during the time period for the early times, and you guys were, starting to play clubs, and were kind of like your theme songs. If you guys had stuff that you put on the CD player back then.
Okay.
I would definitely say like Millencolin Olympic. Remember that song? That was pretty huge for early times. Almost all our songs sounded like that song.
Yeah. I would have to go with. Let's see here.
I think my second, or you want just 2, like one each?
Yeah, you could do. Our their listeners love the music part, so you can give 2 of each of you.
Yeah.
So we can do 4. It doesn't matter.
Jeez.
I was gonna throw Good Riddance, Fertile Fields out there.
Wow, so far, first time Millencolin and Good Riddance are being played on this. That's good. That's really good. He's scoring credibility points and scene points right now.
I was gonna say Good Riddance, but I couldn't think of the song. I would just have to say Blink-182, M&M's.
First time that's been played. Doing good.
And
then Suicide Machines, SOS.
I think first time for them too. A great song, by the way. That's awesome. The record is out. How well did it do?
not very well.
That was the thing. We told Dave, our agent, any tour you can get us, we will take. Any tour. We just want to stay on the road. And I think that was our biggest problem that we never realized is we would just get on these tours that were really not the right tours for us. It's where the fast-paced, high singing, but it's really just fast stuff, and we should have been on tour with Rise Against at the time or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
And instead you were...
But we were on tour with, like, Code 7 and, like,
Shit Before the March of Flames.
Vox and, like, stuff that, like, didn't mix good at all.
Right.
And so, plus we're getting paid maybe $20, $25, $50 a night and not selling much merch, so...
Yeah, I don't think that like the engine was really there to push us much. You know, we didn't have any press. Literally no press. So if he found out about us, it was probably random, really random. You know, through a friend or something.
But we'd still have like these group of kids that would come to the show, and they would just know every word and just be moshing, but it's just 5 kids, and it's like. Not the right tour for us, and so I think that was one of the biggest mistakes is just not getting our name out there and not getting the right tours for us. So
Yeah.
So how did it? So let's get back to before today. So that time period there, that probably that last year maybe when things started to unwind a little bit for you, and you lost. Who'd you lose first? Was it Joe or Mitch?
Joe.
Joe.
Yeah.
And the story is that they just. I think you had quoted one time. Vic was saying that it just got. You guys were very serious about it, and for either one of them or both of them, that it was a. It was just a commitment issue, and it was kind of grueling and.
Yeah, it was a commitment issue, I think, overall. You start these bands just as friends, we're all just friends in high school. And then there's a level, there's a point where it becomes real, it becomes a full-time thing, it becomes your life. And not everyone is ready or wants to be a full-time touring musician. So when both of them left, it was really, saw it coming, and
Yeah, I was just wondering.
and really not like a bad thing for us. We were kind of actually more relieved that, because they just wanted to get jobs and be kind of normal and stay in San Diego, and which is fine. So I mean, and they weren't the kind of people that wrote music a lot, or like really were truly into the stuff. Like me and Mike were writing everything. So
was there ever like that point where and it just out of curiosity, like was there ever that vibe that you were getting from other members that because you guys were brothers, it was your band and it was never really our band?
I don't think so, because it's like we were all making the same amount of money, which was $0. So it's like nobody is gaining anything. So there's no reason to even think that, really. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they would, sometimes people are like, there's two of you guys against.
Yeah.
Well, they could have changed that easily by just putting more into the band and writing more, and instead of having Vic basically record and write all their parts. So,
do you think that's normal though? I've talked to other band members where, and it could be a band that's been around 4 years or a band that's been around 20, and there are always going to be certain members of the band that it's gonna be in their blood. It's their life. The band is the life. It is it. It is all they think about. It's all they do. That's all they. Boom. They are the driving force.
Yeah.
It could be one or two people in the band, and maybe one person's got the marketing savvy, and the other one's got is the lyric writer, And so you have that, and then you kind of got the other guys that are always like, oh, well, they're more or less on the road, on for the ride, even though they love doing it and so forth. But do you think that there's kind of always been that? Have you guys talked to other bands where you're like, there's kind of like that built-in animosity because the guys that are always doing everything kind of resent the guys that don't, but it's just how it is.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. No,
You got leaders and followers.
We've gone on tour with bands that have broken up because of that.
Really?
Like they got that one guy that is super controlling and takes it too far to where he's like screwing the other guys, basically. In so many ways. Money. I don't know, anything you can think of. They're thought of as secondary, and I don't know. I mean, I can personally be very like always trying to drive things and pushing things, because like you were saying, like I'm one of those guys that is just always 100%. Everything I do is about the band, trying to get things moving and stuff, and but for me it's all trying to positively push the band. It's all a vision. Like I have this thought of where I want things to be, and it's all about taking steps to get there. But it's not about like trying to hurt anyone.
No, it's all about furthering the band with, whether it be live like the live performance, which we've worked really hard for this tour for, or recording process wise too.
Yeah.
Was there ever an idea that you came up with, Vic, that you're glad somebody talked you out of because it was really a stupid idea, like you were smoking crack that night? And
Yeah.
you came up
I don't think there's plenty of those.
Yeah, there's stuff that I wish people would talk me out of. Too. Like our first like promos and stuff. You know, like when we first started the band, we were a lot more. I don't know, like we dressed up a little more, you know, and stuff, and like I don't know. I think we just wanted the band to be, after our old band, you know, we wanted this new band to be a lot more serious and taken more seriously, you know, and stuff. And so I think we might have like pushed things a little too far at some points. But now, like, since all we do is tour and play shows, we've learned to really just kind of be ourselves at all times on stage, in photo shoots and everything. You know, it's like I think, I think, you know, in the beginning, I definitely took things.
I think I wore a vest in our first promo pic.
You look damn
you
good.
were doing the Panic at the Disco deal. Huh?
Yeah. I mean, I like vests, but I don't really wear them every day. So
Yeah, you don't look like much of a vest guy anymore.
no, not so much anymore.
You're a little banker right now. So here's the thing: you guys got dropped when the band broke up. The band officially broke up, right? Mm-hmm. So did you guys get dropped by Equal Vision when that happened? Automatically?
We were never dropped.
Okay, because the thing is that it got re-signed.
Yeah.
What happened? What's that?
Actually, nothing ever really.
I see. He's pointing out the vest in the
promo
on the liner on the inside art of their Pierce the Veil record. So you can look in there and you can see him wearing a vest doing his Panic at the Disco.
The band was never dropped. We've been straight with Equal Vision. Luckily, you know, I mean, Equal Vision was really, really supportive of us. You know, me and Mike. Because they knew our situation in our band very well. You know, they knew that I was right. Me and Mike were writing everything, you know, together. So I mean, they knew what was up with that, and we wanted to keep writing. There was points where we were talking to Equal Vision about, you know, is this going to be another Before Today record, or is the smart thing to actually change the name and think of it as a completely new project? Because there was a point where we were just gonna have it be the same band. And
I was wondering, like, wouldn't there be more fears about changing it for the third time?
Oh yeah,
yeah. It was scary to like start all over again. But I think it was a smarter decision to treat it as a completely new project because
it really is.
It really was. It was. Far beyond anything that we had ever done. You know, it was way different. The music was different. And it felt completely different. So we, and you know, and a lot of like the old band was just the kind of tainted feeling for us, you know?
Right.
It was just, it didn't have a good feeling about it, you know?
Let's just start over. Clean house.
Nope.
Yeah. Plus, you really weren't married to the name anyway.
yeah, we wasn't married to the name, and
so then you picked "Pierce the Veil," which was the first track or the third track off the Before Today record.
Yeah.
So why that song?
That title in particular had always been really important to me. You know, I always thought of it as a really, I don't know, it always had positive feelings to me, and so kind of just went with it. Picking a band name is one of the hardest things in the world because we spent actually a couple months just working on that.
So you guys, how did you get hooked up with Casey Bates? I mean, he is kind of the producer of record for Equal Vision, and but you guys went to Seattle and you parked your RV outside outside his house. And wrote for how long? Worked with him for how long?
Just about 2 months, right?
2 months.
And why did you guys end up working? Like, what made you want to work with Casey?
Casey, he was suggested by our label. You know, he had some kind of working relationship with them. Like you said, he had done a couple records. This is before he had done a lot of the bigger, newer stuff that he's done. But he had done Gatsby's American Dream,
which we love.
Fear Before the had he done Fear Before the March Flames and Portugal the Man, and he had done a lot of music that we felt was similar to what we were about to do. You know, very progressive. You know, he didn't do records that sounded like
way over the top.
The chorus pop music. You know, that was he had done a lot of really really indie and creative sounding things, and he seemed like a guy that was really open minded to what we wanted to do, and he's like really open minded, like creative guy. You know, was down for any of the weird shit that we wanted to do in the studio. You know.
Yeah, but at the same time, he keeps a lot of stuff like how it is. Like with the drums, he really doesn't do much drum. Like they sound like drums. They don't sound like over the top, like just triggered. I don't know. It's just real just like roomy drums where it's just pretty much exactly what I'm playing. It's not like fake drums, you know.
So was there when you guys came out of the studio and that record was completed, were there things that you guys could honestly say to yourselves individually, I have now grown as a musician in the studio this way?
Yeah.
Were there things that you've learned that you now do differently?
Yeah, I mean, it was a crazy process because it was just me and Mike pretty much together up there.
And you guys played everything.
Yeah,
you guys did all the instruments.
Everything except for a lot of the keys were done by a friend of ours from LA named Dave Yaden. He's probably the most talented musician I've ever met in my life. Just insane piano player, and he flew up for a couple days and played all the keys on the record. But other than that, it was just me and Mike for a couple months, and yeah, I think I was really stressing out like crazy because there was so much pressure and so much writing on just like my part, you know, because like Mike did the drums and stuff and percussion, and then there was a lot more to do, you know. It's just like bass, guitars, vocals. I was still writing pieces of the record at the time too, and yeah, I think it was a lesson in pressure writing, you know, and recording and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I think you learn from every recording process a lot of stuff, you know. And by the last note, you know, that I sang, that was probably the coolest feeling ever, was knowing that you'd finished something, you know. And we were super proud of it, still are really very proud of it, because it was such a special experience, you know, just doing a record with your brother, you know.
So now it was like 2 years ago that was recorded, roughly. So well, no, actually about a year and a half, right?
Probably like 2 years.
Was it really 2 years?
It took a while to.
Oh, that's right, it is.
It took a while for everything to like actually get released and to form a band out of everything and stuff.
So, are there any things on that record that you kind of look back now that you've grown 2 more years as musicians and talked and met so many fans and you've met some of your idols and so forth and hung out with people, that you would sit there and go, you know, hindsight is everything, and you know, I would love, you know, looking back on it and knowing what I know now, I would have changed this, we would have changed that, the ending of this, the fade out on that.
Yeah, there's a few things, you know, but
is there anything on that record, one thing that like fans like would be interested to know, like that is the one thing on that record that just gets up your guys' craw?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think sometimes we would write things that, like I would write vocal parts and stuff that were, I don't know. I mean, we tour so much. You want to be able to play all your songs live, and there's songs that we've never played live because they're impossible, and we could never pull them off. You know, like the balcony scene was like a piano-driven song, and it was probably the most standout track on the record that didn't sound like anything that should have belonged on the record. You know, like.
But we still get people asking us to play it though live.
Yeah,
of course.
See that's
like,
I'd say that's the one thing that I really don't like that bothers me is that we were just getting so doing whatever we wanted with the record that and not even thinking twice about it, you know, just like
You were in the candy store.
Yeah, and so the record to me doesn't sound unified, you know. It doesn't sound like a band that has their own. It might be a good thing or a bad thing, you know. Like you know, when you hear a band like, I don't know, random example like Under Oath. You know, you hear the song and it's like, oh, this is Under Oath. You know exactly. Right. But some of our songs, they're so like random sometimes that like I had wished that the whole record had a sound of its own, you know, like maybe.
So, but wouldn't your fans sit there and say that what makes that record recognizable when you hear a Pierce the Veil song now is your vocals? It's your style of vocals, Vic. That you know, when I hear your vocals, I go, oh, I know who it is, regardless of what you're doing. Especially with the Casey record, you're just, you know, it's like going from the garage to the opera. It's two different worlds.
Yeah. See, I don't even realize that because I think when I was doing this record, I thought of myself more as a musician than a singer, you know? Like there was so much to the process that I didn't think of myself as one thing, you know? I had to do so much more. And a lot of times we would put way more into the music. Most of that record was a lot of music writing. And then, you know, the vocals had a lot of time too, but I think that was... You know, like I said, I didn't think of it as one thing.
How do you guys still deal today with the world of commenting that we live in, where everybody is a critic and everybody has a thought?
I've stayed away from a lot of reviews and stuff like that. Our mom prints out literally every
single
review.
Really?
There is.
She have a scrapbook, like a whole.
Oh yeah,
like, really?
It's pretty big.
And I actually get really bummed out when I hear things, you know, bad things, and it sometimes I get like I can go crazy in my own head about it. Like, you know, I'll hear one thing and I'll just think like it'll really affect me, you know, and I don't want things that people say to affect what I'm doing, you know, like I don't want some guy to say, oh, his voice sounds whatever. I think one of our reviews said like I sound like I don't know, like a teenage girl on like crack or something like that.
I actually
like,
have that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, where is it? He sounds like a sugar rushing third grader the day after Halloween.
Yeah. See that?
Yeah,
that kind of
was
stuff.
The quote.
It just bummed me out so much that it's like I start thinking, oh my God, like do I need to start singing like lower or do I need to do something different? And
really?
Like,
so that was really it was really affecting you that way.
Yeah, I just like, I don't know. I just don't like when I hear these things, it puts it in the back of my head.
Yeah.
And then I just don't want to change what I'm doing. So I kind of stopped reading a lot of that stuff in general. Unless it's put right in front of me and I accidentally read it. I try
or your host reads it to you.
Yeah, or you.
I actually enjoy
the
bad reviews. It's kind of funny how people can really take the time out of their day just to try to put your band down, especially at our shows. Also,
really,
there's always that, I don't know, one or two guys that's like the whole crowd can just be going nuts,
right?
Like just flipping out, and then there's two guys in the back just
straight
giving you the bird
up.
the whole show. Just
have you guys ever talked about like try to psychoanalyze it? Who are those guys? Like who are they there to see?
Well, they're the guys that are there to see the band that's heavier than
they
you.
usually want the breakdowns or the, you know.
we're not a
Something I
heavy
can
band
watch, too.
at all, you know, like, but we tour with a lot of heavy bands, you know, like we've, you know, one of our main bands that we tour with a lot was like Devil Wears Prada and
Right.
and
Day to Remember.
Day to Remember, all straight up breakdown bands. We're out with Bring Me the Horizon right now, and you know, we do our thing to try and step up the energy and stuff for our live show and stuff, and but sometimes it's like not enough for some dudes. Like they want to I don't know, head walk to our music or something. But it's just not going to happen, and that's not what we're all about.
Yeah.
So,
Have you ever gone up to any of these guys after the show, like when you're drunk and you're just like, you know, I'm going to
Dude,
tell this guy off?
I was so close the other night. I didn't know what to do though. I didn't know what to do. Like this, I was hanging out with fans by our merch table. I was just signing stuff and taking pictures. You know,
With
it's
the
all
kittens?
like, with the kittens. All the kittens were there. And
I thought we stay away from the kittens, Vic.
I only. No, it's just okay. Anyways,
Anyway,
So,
that's later on.
I'm just like,
that's-
I'm taking pictures, you know. I've got a couple 15-year-old girls in a picture, and I'm hanging out, and this dude walks by me and goes, "Hey, why don't you grow some balls?" And then walks away with his like other friend. They're like twice my size. Like one dude looked like a Nazi dude, and like
Oh, great.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do at all. Like I wanted to say something. I wanted to like run after him, but
He was tough, right? He didn't even look back, right?
he didn't look back. He was just straight shot, left
Straight
the
shot
venue.
out the door.
Of course. Right. Yeah. The guy that has balls is running out the door after saying you don't. Yeah. I think there's something a little messed up there.
I don't know. I didn't know what to do. I've never been in a fight, and I don't know what I'm doing.
I may go back to that, but I do want to kind of wrap up where we get us to the current real fast because there's a couple. There's some in the second part here I want to talk about today, the music industry today and stuff like that. But you guys kind of had it wasn't really a rock star moment, but according to the story is that you knew Tony Perry, your current guitarist, from working at a guitar center.
Yep.
You guys went to. Was that in San Diego? Was he in Seattle? Where was he?
San Diego.
San Diego?
Yeah.
And then he had a buddy of his, Jamie, Preciado. Ooh, I said it right. Cleveland. Hey.
First name's
Jaime.
pronounced Jaime.
Jaime. Oh, well, then I still fucked it up. All right. Well.
He gets that every day.
Well, because it's Jaime.
Yeah.
Well, that would be J. Well, no, it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be Jamie, but you know the way they spell everything now, it could be. All right. So, and then he had Jaime, who was a bass player, and he just brought him along.
Pretty
right?
much, yep.
Yeah, we tried. We were having tryouts basically for the band, because everything was set up. The record was ready. You
I
know,
think we had a tour lined up.
We had a label. We had a great booking agent. You know, like we said, Dave Shapiro had been with us since our first band. We were the first band, like one of the first
Did he
bands.
sign you to Equavision?
No.
No.
He was an in-house booking agent at
Okay.
Equavision at the time,
All right, he was in house
before he had gone on to the agency.
Because I know
gig.
that for a while there at Equavision, like everybody kind of had a ability to sign the band and make it their own.
He, you know, we were one of the very first bands he booked when he started booking, and he grew with us, you know, so anyways, like, you know, we were ready to release a record. You know, we had everything ready, you know, agent, a label, everything was ready to go. So we just needed members, and yeah, we met Tony and tried him out, and we tried out a bunch of dudes, and Tony was like the coolest dude, I think. You know, he's good at guitar, and he seemed really chill. And we were looking we wanted to make a band that was like a bunch of like easygoing guys that were fully committed to making music their life, you know. They were ready to tour forever, you know. And that's what Tony wanted. You know, we were all on the same page, and so yeah, we immediately
And he got you
wanted him in
discount at
the band.
Guitar Center, right?
Oh, dude,
I actually,
no joke. Actually,
I
I can believe it.
I was actually there picking some stuff up for myself, and Vic had called me and he said, "Hey man, can you get me some picks?" And I was like, "All right." So I walk over to the other section where his stuff is, and
stuff.
Tony's selling me these picks.
Where the crap is, right?
Yeah, I don't even know the crap is
The
over there.
James Taylor stuff is. Right?
No, and yeah, I had kind of known Tony just through friends, but I never really hung out with him. And I asked him, I said, do you know any guitar players out there? And he's like, well, I play guitar. I was like, oh, well, why don't you come over and jam with us? And he came over, and that was that.
It was that easy.
It was that easy.
We didn't run like astrology charts to see if you're compatible with each other, anything like that. You know,
No background checks.
no background checks.
Yeah.
See if he's an American citizen.
Wait, is he?
Oh shit! Let's move on. Now I did what actually I meant to ask this before, but Vic, it says that you dropped out of college
Yeah.
at one point. You were going for graphic design. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, I was going to San Diego State. I was there for like 3 years, and I was studying graphic design. And
So you were basically a junior.
mm-hmm.
You were a year off.
So you're off.
Man, that's the hard part.
Yeah.
When you think about when you're that close
Yeah.
and all of that money's been put in. Well, actually, in college in California, it's free, right?
No, I mean I had gotten some financial support, like I got grants and stuff like that.
Okay.
But that's besides the point. I mean, it was San Diego State. You have to pay to go there.
So when you dropped out, what point in the band's careers where was
It was when we started actually touring,
as before today or
as before today.
Okay.
Yeah, when we started booking tours, and I basically couldn't. I never actually dropped out. I like got a leave of absence.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
And it just became permanent. So I might still be enrolled somewhere in there.
So you could go back.
Maybe. I don't know. I
Maybe.
don't know what they would say to me if I strolled back in and tried to take some classes.
Whenever I meet a musician that's a graphic artist, I always like to ask them the question: is like, what do you? First of all, how involved are you in the T-shirt design and stuff like that? Being the
Yeah, I used to design
It was
everything.
everything before. But
Really?
Like I still design a lot of our stuff. Like, that's one of the other things, like how I'm always trying to like do stuff for our band. Like it's like anywhere from trying to do our MySpace to T-shirt designs to, album artwork, stuff like that. I still design a little bit. I've tried to make music more the primary thing now.
Mhm.
Because I don't like wasting my time on other stuff when I should be writing, But I like on this tour, I have one shirt that I designed, and
which shirt's that?
it's a yellow shirt. It's got these two like zombie
zombie lovers.
Zombies are big.
lovers. I don't
Numbers
know.
always sell anything with a zombie on it.
Especially if it's on like a girly color shirt.
Yeah, it's like the cute girly shirt that's doing pretty well. I'm pretty stoked on
if
it.
you were a professor and you were teaching a course on band T-shirt design,
Yeah.
and you had a class of 50 students, what would be the rules? Those 3 rules that you sit there and say that are about band merch.
Well, right now it's all bright and big.
Big. It's got to be the whole T-shirt, the whole hoodie.
Oh, so the art has to take up the whole thing.
Yeah, you want to print as big as possible.
I
and
think
as bright as possible if you want to sell anything.
the bold lettering too.
Yeah, bold everything.
A lot
It's
of
like-
bold lettering on the back of the T-shirts are doing really well too.
Yeah, you see the trends as you look at merch and stuff like that, and I always pay attention to what's, that's kind of the designer part of me still working at some point.
Is there any part of current merch designs that you guys hate, that wish would go away?
Yeah, I really don't like all the a lot of the hand drawn stuff is becoming really popular, which is cool, but everyone's biting off each other's styles right now. So it's like that drippy, really wild look, things dripping everywhere. Which some of our designs we have that because we know that's what is cool. But I don't like that. A lot of designers are trying to bite off each other, like their styles of drawing, and it's
There's one of the bands on the tour, on this current tour, was saying somebody made a T-shirt that is almost identical to theirs, and they had a little bit of beef with that.
Well, that's nice. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So it made it for the tour or during the tour.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great. Perfect. Well, let's do our second music break, and then we'll a couple more questions. We'll wrap this up. Let's play a couple songs here. First of all, give me a song off of For Today, that record that you think is kind of wraps up what that band was about sonically.
I would just put on the song "Pierce the Veil." That was like, I think that was our, at least for me, it was the most on the direction, on the way that we wanted our band to kind of move towards. So that was, I think that was.
I agree.
And then give me a song off of Flair for the Dramatic that is, you guys have always been in unison, as this is the one that we are the happiest with on that record.
Mm-hmm. I think the first track, Chemical Kids and Mechanical Brides, can be a really.
Now isn't that going to be the next video?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
That can sum up the band pretty well. You can hear the dramatic parts and then the
fast.
Yeah.
I
don't know, the Queen influences and all the layers and there's a lot of stuff going on in that song. So.
And then give me one more song off that record. Give me the one that's most misinterpreted.
Okay. Most misinterpreted.
Or I think as Scott Heiser would say, it is misinterpreted the most. That's how I should say that.
How so? Like lyrically?
Yeah, lyrically. Like fans think it's about one thing, and it's been like it's about a turtle.
Yeah. I'd say. What would be a good one? Falling Asleep on a Stranger. I'd say people don't ever really know what that song's about. I don't know.
What do they think it's about, and what is it really about?
I'm trying to think. Like they don't know. Sometimes they just think it's like literally, like I don't know, the literal.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just not knowing someone and falling asleep on them. I guess they don't really know what it's about, but it's about.
They're not catching the metaphors.
The meaning is getting into a relationship too fast with someone, and having it go too far, too fast, and being with someone that's practically a stranger.
You guys now, when you fill out your tax forms, now as a professional musician, artist, what part of it do you hate? And you can't say right now. Just so you can't cheat.
No.
But you can say interviews. You can say that.
The part that we hate about being a professional musician. I think.
I mean, obviously, you guys are very thankful for having this ability to do, doing what you're doing, considering everybody else on the planet and what they're doing and going through.
Yeah.
Lately, it's been just being away for so long because we really haven't been home for more than 2 to 3 weeks for the past 2 years. So,
wow.
And just being in a different climate every day, it's just really, I think everyone's getting sick, and it's just so hard to stay healthy with this kind of lifestyle. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, it's fun to hang out with all the bands and party, but it's just like you got to stay healthy too. So.
Yeah, I think the only thing I've found that I really didn't like, that I didn't really see much until we did Warped Tour, is any form of like elitist, people like because like when we tour with bands, like we like to really get to know them and have fun with them and be friends with them, and on Warped Tour there's so many bands, and you see bands that it becomes this weird competition thing there when there's so many, and like some of them
see it, you hear it too.
Some of them, they have like these cliques of bands that like they're just like way too cool. You can't. they have these like walls, you know, like
Yeah, you'll hear one thing and then it's like high school all over again. It's like someone will be talking to you about a certain band, and we're friends with every band, and so it's like in the back of my head, I'm like, we're friends with that band. Why are you like really talking to them like that?
yeah, just people that aren't completely open,
Yeah,
you know. And even though we're all there for the same reason, sometimes they're like they think they're better than you for whatever reason because they're, you know, on the cover of the magazine and they're not on the inside of it. You know, like I mean, just you know, our band will be on the inside, they'll be on the cover, and they think they're the better band. You know, I one of our songs is actually kind of about that kind of stuff. The song that's "I'd Rather Die Than Be Famous." I'd say that would be the most misunderstood one. It's not because we don't want our band to be big. You know, it's because I've met so many people that who are famous and are not cool at all, and people who you know, when you meet them, they don't even really talk to you just because you're not famous. And people that only want to associate with people that are going to like better themselves and not be open to just normal people. That was what that song was about. And I'd say that's the biggest thing for me in music is that you find that a lot.
Do you think that you guys had to go through an indoctrination period, though? I said that about Warped Tour, but did you kind of feel like your time on 2008 Warped Tour was kind of like you were now accepted? I mean, I think you know, we had Chris Conley here, and he was saying that it took him a couple of years to get finally like accepted.
I think we're still working on it.
yeah, I think
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
Who doesn't still get you? Do you think who's would click?
I don't know. I think people are still just. I don't know. Like I said, we think of our band as always progressing and trying to reach these new levels, and you know, it's a challenge to make everyone get it. You know what you're doing. Sometimes, so you know, I this band has gone a long way in a short period of time. So it's like we're still working.
we don't plan on stopping. Like we're just gonna keep working even harder and harder. And I know people have actually already seen that, especially on Warped Tour. They see how hard we work, and especially being on Warped and just doing it all ourselves too. Not taking a crew out, just trying to do it ourselves, and actually accomplishing that was pretty cool. And people saw that, and I think that's the reason we're on this tour. So,
Did you you know, one of the things that usually gets overlooked that I always kind of marvel at when I'm at Warped Tour or any sort of a festival gig is when a band is set up to go out and do a signing every day, and you do it for an hour, and there is some method to that madness. And so, do you guys have any sort of a formula that you guys use to when you do a signing? Again, maybe both you guys are professors now, and you're teaching a class of how to do an autograph signing session. Because you know everybody wants to stop and they want to talk and they want a picture, and you don't want to be rude to anybody, as you were saying, Vic. Like you want to be.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we on this tour, we've been doing the rock star signings like every other day, and kids would much rather have a picture than an autograph usually, and Vic usually lines up in first to meet the fans, and Vic can really never turn down a picture. And we'll have like this huge line, and
because he can't, or because he shouldn't.
Well, he definitely shouldn't, because we have to get the line moving, and Vic's always trying to. Okay, yeah,
I just wish kids would
quick.
learn how to use their own cameras. Sometimes.
That is a problem.
It's on video.
But
The lens cap's on. No, there's always different rules to the signings, like pictures after, or only one item, or there's always weird things. So we try to find out what we can do.
yeah, I think any way that we cannot be the bad guy in
Yeah.
those situations is good. We just try and get the people organizing it to make sure people know what's up.
So you the story is that you said in AP actually about the Taste of Chaos tour that you're on is that you actually postponed working on the new record
Yeah.
to do this tour.
Yeah. I mean, we got asked by Kevin to do this tour while we were on Warped Tour, and it was definitely something we would never turn down. We really wanted to do it. But yeah, I mean, this is when we should be writing and recording, but we had to do this tour because it's
Do you already know who's going to produce the next one? Do you have somebody in mind?
not yet.
Not gotten that far yet. And the record is going to sound. How do you think it's going to evolve from where you guys were with the first official Pierce the Veil record?
Yeah, we're pretty set on writing an album that's going to be very reflective of our shows and stuff. Like we've been, since our whole life has basically been touring and playing shows, why not make a record that's going to be super fun to play? And so that's the plan.
And fun for the fans, too.
Yeah, it's going to be inspired completely by shows and touring and our fans and the love for playing live, So like we want to make a record that's going to be fun to go out and tour on. So it's going to be very energetic. Probably not a lot of slow stuff.
Not a lot of keyboards.
It's just going to be really, really upbeat, energetic, fun, and fun for us. And but yeah, that's the plan. It's inspired by all the touring and all our people that we meet at shows and stuff.
A couple more questions and we're done. Talking about the music industry, you guys have, I think you guys have sound scanned about 25,000 so far of this record, maybe a little bit more than that. And the quote I was told was, somebody told me, well, you have to understand, 25,000 sales is actually the new 100,000. And if you could sound scan T-shirts, you guys would be number one. So I'm gonna give you your soapbox here for a couple minutes. You've got the entire world of music fans out there, and you want to tell them about how when they go and download music and for free, and they don't go through like iTunes or Amazon or buy it from you at the merch booth or go to the local record store or something, how that personally affects you guys as musicians. Like, what do you guys? How do you think it affects you, and what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, I think everyone has kind of accepted it, that this new media or the new medium of how you get your music. Everyone knows that you don't make money off your CD. You make it off of your touring and off of your merch. And I've always been so all about just getting it in their hands more than anything. Even if like some kid stole it off our table, I really wouldn't care. I'd just be like, okay, he wants the CD that bad that he's gonna steal it. Like I'm fine with that, or giving kids deals. Can I get the CD for $3, $5? I'm like, okay, that's fine with me as long as I'm not actually paying for the CD or losing money on it. But yeah, that's what it's all about. Is just getting the music in people's hands and hoping that they like it. And I think that's what we're all about, pretty much.
So I mean, there are a lot of young bands who think like you guys, that the bands that have been around a little bit longer, maybe about 5 years, that have been kind of like had a couple records underneath their belts already, they think very differently. But a lot of the new bands, there is that feeling coming from the record company, coming from marketing people, coming from the bands themselves, that the music is worthless, basically. Not saying quality-wise, but the cost of it is worthless. So give away the music to sell a shirt.
That's what I was about to say that.
Is that how you guys think, or
Well,
am I assuming?
every time like one of our buddies' bands or our friends' bands come out with an album, we buy it that day, the day it comes out. The new Day to Remember record that just came out, bought it the first day. Because we see how hard we work, our friends work. Nobody really, our fans don't really get to see how hard it is to do what we do. So I respect all bands out there that are doing what we do. So, but I don't know, they don't really get to see that. So if they want to download it and then at least come out to the show and buy a T-shirt, then I guess that's how it's got to work.
So you guys are a little bit more fatalistic about it? Like,
Pretty
there's no
much.
way to really change it?
I don't know. I mean, I think unless you're on like a really, really crazy level, you know, like I don't know, like Fall Out Boy style, you know, to where like you're selling enough records to actually see a penny off of it, then that's cool. But yeah, I mean, I think we've just really accepted that that's just the way it's just the way it is, you know. And I've, you know, like I said, that wasn't my goal. It's not my goal to sell a million records. I'm not like looking at my sound scans every day trying to like freak myself out about like if we're selling records. It's more about because I have like you just said how much we've sold, and I had no idea. Like I don't know where we're at. I haven't even thought about that stuff in a long time because the more important thing is right in front of us, you know, our tours, our fans, like seeing that we are actually doing something and people are singing, and that's what matters, you know.
Even though maybe you guys could possibly have more money in your bank account to survive on,
Yeah.
if more fans bought your music.
Yeah. I mean,
I think we took the hit pretty early with this record because
Yeah, this thing got leaked, didn't it?
It leaked
Like
probably
way early.
like a year early.
Did you ever find out who did it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and were
Yeah.
they punished?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who was it?
Uh,
Can't say it.
I don't care. I'll
I
say
don't really
it.
care either.
It was this dude. You know, we tracked it down to a guy named Gabe from what was his band, Versus the Mirror, and he just leaked it, and
You ever got a reason?
He was allowed to listen to it by someone at the label, which his band was on, Equal Vision also. And while he was listening to it, he just imported it, and this was like probably 6 months before it was supposed to be released.
yeah, it was like 6 or 8 months, like something crazy.
So it wasn't. Do you think it was out of vengeance? Or,
No.
no, just
You know, that-
stupidity or.
It was just,
No.
I think he just wanted people. A lot of times when people leak things, it's not because they want to screw you. Most of the time, it's just because they're really stoked on wanting people to hear it. You know, whatever. I don't know.
I
It's just-
don't, I'll never
they
understand
just
it.
don't. They don't understand.
So, if there was anything in the music industry that you wish would change, what do you think it would? What do you wish it would be?
Music industry changing things. I don't know, man. I wish there was a way that we could cuz kids, it seems like people are less and less buying actual hard copies of CDs, you know.
Right.
Downloads are becoming very popular, and we kind of
iTunes.
yeah. Like sometimes I wish there was a way we could like straight up be like put the record right on their iPod at the show or something like that, you know, like
I think it's actually going that way.
yeah, I
I
mean,
think they're already talking about ways to do that, where you just go to the show and you could, you know,
Yeah.
you won't even have to do the USB thing anymore. You just hook in your
Yeah.
iPod and you download it.
Yeah.
I wish there was straight up a really easy way, just like
Or MP3 player for those that don't like iPods.
Mm-hmm.
just be like, bam, you got the record. Okay, now it's yours, and I think that'd be really cool. So I don't know, maybe we'll figure something out.
I think lately, on this tour, we've been seeing a lot of vendor sales where our merch guy doesn't actually sell at the show. It's someone hired that works for the venue, And I mean, merchandise is what we make our money off. That's what we live off. And to see like these venues really taking like sometimes 20% of the sales, it's kind of ridiculous. I don't know.
So you're kind of saying, try and control who sells your merch.
Exactly, and
Keep it to your own bud.
Yeah, I wish
That guy
venues-
from back home that's like, or gal that's...
That is one thing I don't think any kids know. That's a really behind the scenes thing, is that every venue you play takes your money from your merch, you know?
and they're already charging these kids. I don't know.
So if people see that shirt prices have gone up a little bit, you know, when we were going to shows, shirts were $10 and now they're like $20, $25 and
$40 hoodies.
Because venues get like 15%.
yeah, they're taking so much from the bands that sometimes you have to do that stuff.
I could much rather just have a kid come out to the trailer and I'll just dig out a size for him and sell him a t-shirt for $10.
You guys are bootlegging your own stuff. That's good.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
like that.
Bootleg our own merch.
Hey, you know, it's all about entrepreneurial.
We are
shipping.
Mexican, so.
Yeah, I mean, when we were in Mexico, they had bootlegs of our merch.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
outside.
yeah. They do that right out in front
That's
of us
cool.
on the sidewalk. There, they lay them all out.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're better than what you were doing. You're like, what the hell?
Dude,
Yeah.
I got a Pierce the Veil coffee mug, and I'm really stoked on it.
And do you? And when you buy, that's what I always wondered. Like when you go up and you buy your own stuff, do you tell them who? I mean, because sometimes they don't know. You know what I mean? Like it's
We
just some
actually
guy
just
from out.
took it.
We were
We
told
just
to-
took it. Oh,
we
that's
were-
even better.
We were
told
told to
us to
steal
take
it, and
Oh, you were told. Oh,
and
so
then
must be a
the
Mexican
more
thing.
the more I
Okay, what's up
realized,
with this?
the more I realized how stupid that was, and how we could have gotten like stabbed for stealing our own merch. Like, because those
Watch
guys,
was a drug cartel guy, or
yeah,
something like that, right?
It's not like the guy on the street knows that I'm the singer of the band. He probably just thought it was some dude jacking him. So I'm glad we're alive after that.
Yeah.
Boy, everybody, it's either you have no balls, or they want to kill you over a coffee mug. I don't know.
Seriously, man.
Your own coffee mug that you got no percentage on. Last question. Here we go. Tell me the time on the road, because you guys did van tours, and you know, and they talk about that trance that you get into, the white stripe trance. You know, and you kind of go into this other euphoric world after a while, after you do drive for 8 or 10 hours in the middle of the night. But tell me the time that you guys almost died while touring.
Let's see. Time we almost died.
Mine was actually we tour in an RV now, and it was probably about 7 a.m., 7 in the morning, and I was driving in the snow. Everyone was asleep in the back, just me, and I start seeing cars on the side of the road. Just turned over, just parked on the side, and this was on the highway, and I'm just driving along a little nervous about it, and, you know, the semis just fly by you, just shooting by you. They got so much weight, they're not going anywhere, and a semi flies by me, and kind of drift a little, and then the RV just locked up, and it was black ice, and I had no control. It was just locked up, and I'm looking in my mirror, and the trailer's just flying back and forth, and this was on a downgrade too, and I seriously saw my life flash before my eyes, and eventually it just caught back on, and just kept on going. Nobody woke up. I just pulled over on the next exit and just seriously got out and just thanked God for my life.
Yeah.
But just driving in those conditions, it's just to get to the next show and just risking your life, pretty much. I don't think anyone knows that. Not even in the band, because they were all sleeping.
I think the one for me, I don't think anyone's life was in risk, but we were driving through New York, New Jersey areas, which is the most stressful, craziest place to drive if you have a big vehicle. And
Parkways.
there's so many rules and things that you don't know about when you have to drive a big vehicle, you know, like heights and stuff. And
tunnels.
I ended up hitting a bridge that we were too high for. That it was like somewhere random. It didn't have a mark on it. Didn't know how high it was. And it ripped off our top stuff, like all the like the AC unit, like just like literally ripped out of the ceiling. There's like sparks flying. Everyone's like freaking out, and like, yeah, and it just dropped right into the street and left this huge hole in our ceiling.
We definitely had a sunroof.
We had like a
for
bit
the
of a
next week.
sunroof for a week
And it
or
was
so.
raining too.
Yeah, so
How
that
fast were you going when you hit that?
probably like 15. I don't know.
15 miles an hour.
20.
You were getting on the. On
I was
the,
getting off like an exit or something. Like we were like on our way to a party, like with like
Even better.
with like our
you
friend.
know?
We were like following a van. Everyone was super excited. It was like a good show. It was like one of the best shows of the tour. And then I just ruined my whole night. Yeah, it was like one of the worst nights of my life. I hated myself. But
I wasn't even there. I rode with another band. I think I
yeah.
rode with 4 Letter Lie, maybe. And I come back to the RV and there's just a sunroof. Vic, what happened?
Yeah, I just went to bed. I was
Low
just
bridge.
mad at myself.
Just went to bed. Guys, thank you for coming in today. I really appreciate you taking some time out, and I wish you the best of luck. You got a new video coming out and a new record end of this year, or you think it's gonna be 2010 right now?
It's up in the air.
Yeah.
We're gonna work as fast and hard on it as we can. So as soon as we can get it to you. But for now, side project band called Isles and Glaciers.
Yes, I didn't even ask about that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, we'd like people to definitely check that out while we're writing and stuff. You know, it involves me, Mike. I sing on it. Mike played drums. Craig from Chiodos sings on it. Johnny from Amorosa sings on it. Brian from Receiving Inner Science. Matt from Chiodos. Nick from Undermined. Tons of like amazing dudes together. And,
Produced by Casey Bates.
Produced by
right?
Casey Bates.
The gang's all here, man.
And we'll be putting that
It's
out
like a
soon.
frat house record. AP podcasts are recorded at Lava Room Recording Studio in Cleveland, Ohio, a New York City quality studio at Cleveland prices. Check out www.lavaroomrecording.com. For more information on Alternative Press Magazine, go to www.altpress.com. The podcast engineer is John Walsh. Post-production assistance from Rob Hortensi. I'm Mike Shea, and this is all my fault. You can reach me directly at www.myspace.com/Mike Shea AP. That's SHEA like the stadium, AP.